What's up, everybody? Welcome back to Mike Learns Poker. This is your weekly deep dive for April 4th, 2025. Happy Friday, everybody. So I picked 5 or 6 hands that I called down on the river and lost. And what I really want to try to get a sense for is, I guess, a couple of things. One, the most obvious is, should I be calling in these spots on the river? But as we've discovered in a lot of videos, there are actions preceding getting to that point of a decision where I may have goofed up along the way. So I want to see if there's any kind of obvious other takeaways before the river decision that would help my game, because it's all about finding your leaks and tightening them up. So that's what we're going to do. All right, let's dive in. Okay, hand one. Ace King offsuit, early position, 33 bigs. And we're going to, so pretty standard open from us. Under the gun one. Actually, button, cutoff, hijack. I guess technically we're in the low jack on this one. And then the small blind is going to call. So a lot of suited aces, a lot of suited connected stuff, a lot of pairs. Not the big best pairs. So got to keep that in mind. See, it's kind of this section of the quadrant. Suited aces, some suited kings, some suited Broadway stuff, suited connected stuff, small and medium pairs. That's where they're calling from. Maybe a little bit of king queen suited. Big blind folds. Cool. Heads up in position. Love it. Okay, pretty good flop for us. I think queen jack 4. Let's see if GTO wizard agrees. Yeah, small blind should start with a check. And they do. We should be betting a lot. We can check 30%. Probably because our opponent could have a lot of like 10-9, 10-8, 9-8. A lot of connected, a lot of suited stuff, so a lot of diamonds. I guess they have a fair amount of queens, so we got to be somewhat careful. I guess this isn't a range bet. I treated it like a range bet, which I shouldn't have. I should have bet a little bigger. So I make it very easy for them to call with just about anything. So that was kind of a wasted bet. Now the 5 of diamonds comes off. Here's where it gets interesting. Alarm bells should have been going off in my head because they lead. What is that? About a third of the pot. A little less than that, I guess. 25%. So we'll say they bet 20% because I can't do 25% in here. Are they ever betting? What are they betting with? You can see they're not supposed to bet with anything. So I'm sure in game I was like, I don't love that. But notice that I do have the king of diamonds. So even though this is a very strange move, I'm not going anywhere. You can see here. We could raise, actually. We could raise quite a bit with the king of diamonds or the ace of diamonds. But this is such an abnormal move. I feel like I could be running into a big hand a lot and get re-raised. So I decided to call, which is fine. Now a king comes off, which is, some of you might be like, well, that's a good card. Maybe. I could have just taken the lead. Then this happens. All in. Which, what are their all ins? Or bet huge. 7-6 of diamonds, 8-6 of diamonds, 8-7 of diamonds. Pocket sevens. That's a weird one. Pocket eight's another weird one. Sixes, a weird one. N8 of diamonds. So what's the trend here? Ace seven of diamonds, ace six of diamonds, king six of diamonds. What are the bluffs here, people? Non-existent. What are the hands we're ahead of? Not much. I don't think people are betting these sevens and eights and stuff like that. So they go all in. And this is poker hell. You can see here that my calls primarily come from the ace of diamonds with a king. And I guess that's because I reduce the likelihood that they have a flush because they would have played a lot of suited aces in the same way. So it's kind of the concept of blocking and unblocking. So in this case, I block many of the big hands that they could have had. But notice that if I have a king of diamonds, I'm just ditching it. And my specific combination of ace of clubs, king of diamonds is just, you can fold, just fold. I didn't. All of these are a river call and lost. That's what this is all about. So I think for this hand, I feel fine about how I played up till the river. And then I just was like, I want you to be bluffing. I want you to be bluffing. But there's too many signals along the way that I'm beat. And if they happen to get through a ridiculous bluff every once in a while on me, you just live with it, I think. Because I would have still had 27 big blinds. That's plenty to work with. Instead, I call and lose and I'm out of the tournament just like that. So, good learnings here. He's telling you a story. It's a pretty strong story. You can believe it. All right, let's do another one. We are in the cutoff with the beautiful ace nine suited, which I could raise. I could raise it. I tend to call these more. These right here. Ace nine suited, ace through ace queen suited, because then I can have a really strong hand that's a little bit disguised. It's hard for opponents to see. Everyone else folds. Let's go heads up in position. That's what we want. I guess that's another argument you could make for raising this hand pre-flop is that you get rid of the button a lot of the time, and then you're guaranteed to be in position. And position is everything, as we have discovered in other videos. All right. On this board, our opponent can do a fair amount of betting. It's a really good board for them. Something else I'm learning in my lessons is the further away the caller is from you as a raiser, the more betting you can do as a general rule. The closer that the caller is to you, the less betting you do because your ranges are very condensed and kind of on top of each other. You both have very strong ranges, strong good holdings. So in this case, our opponent can bet a lot because I'm pretty far away from them, and they do. They bet about 33%. What? No, more than that. Say 40%, something like that. And their bets primarily are coming from big stuff. Big stuff. Aces, kings, ace, king. They're going to bet some ace, queen with some backdoors, would be my guess. No, they're betting all kinds of ace, queen. Yeah. So it's all their big hands. So they have a fair amount of bluffs, fair amount of big bluffs, big hands that they're currently bluffing with. They could improve. They have a lot of equity. So we're calling this combination all day, obviously. We have a pair. I'm not going anywhere. Not yet. All right. Six of spades. Now you got to have a king. Opponent. Are you going to show me that you have a king? Going to tell me a story? So they can bet half of their range still. They are betting stuff like Queen Jack, Queen 10, where they have draws. They are betting all of their kings, pretty much all their kings. A little bit of checks with weaker kings. Two pair bet. They start checking a lot of like small medium pairs, weaker aces. They keep going. Pretty sizable bet, 2/3 pot or more. I'll say that's like 83% pot. I don't think we can fold yet. We only lose to a king or pocket aces if they happen to have pocket aces. I doubt they don't have king 9. We block the 9. They could have it, but it's very unlikely. They could have a lot of flush draws. So we're not going anywhere yet. So this one purely is about the river decision. Another king comes off, which could look scary. But in a lot of situations, when this happens, I've seen opponents generally don't show up with the goods. Usually that means they don't have a king. So let's see how GTO Wizard feels about the rationale. They go all in, a little bit over pot, which is a really good move because they should do that with their missed clubs. They should do that with their missed straights, stuff like that. And they should do it with their huge hands. And you can see here, GTO Wizard is kind of indifferent. I'm not sure I understand this. So ace 9 with 2 spades it likes as a call. I don't know what the spades have to do with this board because there's only one spade on the board, so it's not like I don't understand the blocking or unblocking aspects. Somebody will have to explain that to me. With diamonds, it's call 2/3 of the time, which obviously you're not doing in game, right? So I think of these as it should give you a sense for how strong a decision to call or fold would be. And so in this case, I don't know. This is a tough one. They do have a lot of bluffs. I feel like I do have to call here in most cases because let's look at what they're betting with. So this is kind of cool. I just discovered this a week ago or so. Another coach was doing this in a video I watched. So you can see here they're supposed to do this with primarily missed draws, which is 33% of their range. Another 23% of their range is ace high. But then to balance that, they've got 28 plus 10, 38% of their range is the monster hands, the absolute monsters. So they're pretty balanced, but there's a decent amount of bluffs here. So let's get to the punchline. I called, obviously, opponent shows king, queen offsuit. So I don't know if I can ever get away from that hand. I think that's just unfortunately they had the goods this time, but I actually feel pretty good about how this hand went. Sometimes you just lose. Can't go around folding. You're gonna get abused. So we lose. Whatever. Next hand. We got pocket tens, early position. We raise, obviously. And then we get 3-bet by the low jack. That's a strong range. That's a very strong range. Whoops. Let me reset that. 4% of hands are 3-betting to an early raise from the low jack. So they got a lot of good stuff. Tread cautiously, Michael. So it comes back to us. I wonder if I can 4-bet this a little bit. Yeah, I could. I could. It's a kind of a, choose your own adventure. I like a call here, even though I'm out of position. I just don't know much about this opponent. If they were pretty wild, I might 4-bet that. 2 queen 3. Couple of hearts. We're going to play very carefully here. So we're going to check everything. Doesn't even matter if we hit that queen in some massive way. They are going to bet everything. Significant range advantage. Nut advantage. Nut advantage meaning the strongest holdings. Who has more of the strongest holdings? They do. They could have aces and kings, and they could have pocket queens, and because we were the pre-flop caller, we have so few of those. We don't really have any of them, honestly. Like when do we ever just call queens or aces or kings? So our range kind of went like this, kind of shrunk from the top, got smaller, tighter. I don't think we can fold because we have the 10 of hearts. You can see here we're not folding friggin' it. Oh, let's do this. I screwed that up. They bet 25%. That's their range. We can fold some stuff, but we're certainly not folding tens. We do have some queens, but not very much. Like the only hands we're raising with are like ace queen suited, ace queen off, maybe ace king off with like a heart. Yeah. See here, we could raise if we have ace king with a heart, but mostly we're just calling. Stick around, stick around. They could have a lot of bluffs too. King of hearts. That is not an awesome card. It might look like an awesome card, but it's going to make us stick around a lot. And they could have a decent amount of ace of hearts. So this is not. I'm not feeling great. Not feeling great. We're going to continue checking. Now they bet half pot. This is us, tens with a heart. Got a stick, got a stick, got a stick. Sucks. This is how you go broke. Jack of diamonds. We're still checking. We could bet, but I hate that as a move. I hate it, I hate it, I hate it. And our opponent puts in all of their chips, which is, yeah, 2/3 of the pot. This is a pure fold. Pure fold. Everything gets there. Everything gets there. I don't know in what universe I would feel like this is a good decision. I don't, and I must have been on like absolute tilt because this is a terrible call. So everything up to the river was fine. It doesn't feel good to do these things, to be calling all the way to the river. But I think, man, what are you doing, Mike? This is such a punt. That's such a bad call. Ace King with the Ace of Hearts. They have you absolutely destroyed. Destroyed. And again, like occasionally somebody might pull off a really creative bluff on this board. Fine. Let them have it because, oh man, I'm so disappointed that I did that. What a terrible decision. All right, let's do another one. One more. Okay, so this hand's going to be a little different because it is ICM. I think I want to say it might have been one table, but I want to say this was 2 tables left, 6 players at the table. And so we are button cutoff hijack. And we're going to raise our queen nine suited. And we get called by the big blind. Pretty standard so far. Close enough. 5-2 jack. Nothing too scary on this board. Pretty good for our range. Not great for their range. They're going to check. And we decided to bet. That bet is too small, according to GTO Wizard, but we are betting most of our stuff. I'm going to change this and say we bet 20%. And the opponent calls. So, I could have some jacks, but probably a lot of fives. Maybe some suited stuff. Turn 9 gives us a pair. Cool. Opponent checks. Cool. We like it. When we bet, we should size up. We should not be betting our queen 9. My guess is because we have showdown value now. So we bet all our best jacks, sets, over pairs. We have some bluffs with like king, queen, king 10 where we could hit a straight. We got some bluffs with ace 8, ace 7, stuff like that. I elected to bet. What is that? Half pot? Not even. Weird bet size, Mike. Don't know why I did that. Let's just add it in here. See what GTO Wizard thinks about it. Yeah, that's a really strange sizing. I don't know why I did that. Because I am a strange poker player, I guess. We could use that bet size, but it prefers us to just size up. Should not bet queen 9, but we did. Not the end of the world. They call. Looks like they're chasing a draw. Looks like they're sticky with a 5. Doesn't look a lot like a jack. 6 of clubs. Here's where it gets weird. Opponent now donk bets 10 into 14. Why? What are you doing, bro? They're actually supposed to check everything they have. So this is just bizarro world. All right. 9. Do we ever fold our queen 9? Yeah. I mean, so the GTO wizard is going to be all screwed up because it assumed we checked queen 9 of hearts on the turn, even though we bet it. So that's why only the queen 9 of spades shows up here, but you can see this hand's getting folded. Are we calling any 9s? Ace 9 call. 2 pair call. But just any one pair. I don't see any one pair calls with a 9. I wanted them to be bluffing with a spade draw. This one hurt. This one really hurt. Because I was left with dust, and they actually played 4-3 offsuit, just freaking unbelievable. So they rivered a straight, which is disgusting. But in moments like these, I just remind myself that you want bad players to play because that's how you make money. And sometimes bad players get lucky with stupid hands. It's just part of the game. So that one sucked. But I am supposed to fold the 9. So I guess there's a lesson here. You can get away from stuff like this sometimes, especially when they're donk bet on the river. That's a weird move. All right, one more. All right, in this one we get a raise from under the gun 1. Ace 10 offsuit in the big blind. Let's see, we could raise. I like a call because we could have some other raises dominated. Gotta hide some of this stuff. 5-6 ace. All right, pretty good. We got to be careful though. We also can disguise the strength of our hand here. If they have like king queen, king jack, king 10, there's a lot of Broadway stuff they're just gonna have to keep betting with. So we check. They have a lot of the big aces in their range, so that's why another reason why you want to check is like let them take the aggressive route, and then you can check raise if you want. I'm not going to, but you could. So they're supposed to bet damn near all of their range. And they do for about 33% of the pot. A little more than that. We're not going to get cute. We're just going to call. See all of our aces, just call. You can raise ace 6, 2 pair, ace 5, 2 pair. You got some raises with 2 pair sets. Got some weird bluffs like backdoor flush draw, straight draw type stuff. But this hand we're just going to call. 6 of hearts. So now we've got aces and kings with a 10 kicker. Cool. Strong hand, not the strongest hand. Got to be careful. It was an early position raise. Okay, now they bet big. Pretty big. 7, 6.5 into 9. I don't think we can fold yet. No, just call. Call all your aces. All right, what happens on the river? 8 of spades. We're going to check again. They bet 75% of the pot, roughly. Pretty big bet. Ace 10. Ace 10 spade and diamond. It's it. I guess they don't have enough bluffs. Ace king, ace queen beats you. Ace jack beats you. Aces beat you. Obviously. Really hard for him to have pocket aces. This one feels less straightforward to me. But it's a GTO says you ditch it. Let's see what they had. Oh, Jesus. They raised pocket 5. Early position. Bastard. That was sneaky. They're actually supposed to go all in. Which would have looked a hell of a lot bluffier in retrospect, but I think this hand just sucks. GTO says you can fold there to 3 consecutive streets of betting on an ace high board with a weak kicker. So I'll have to keep that in mind. All right. Let's see. Are there any key takeaways? I think I didn't see any egregious errors leading up to the river today. Felt pretty good about the play all the way to the river. But then there was a little too much hope as a strategy. Like, ooh, I really want you to be bluffing. Versus just a little bit more mindful approach, like thinking about what are your opponent's bluffs? How many bluffs do they have in relation to massive hands that they could have? And if you identify that there's enough bluffs, sure, you can call. But if you can't think of more than like a few bluffs, just ditch it. Live to fight for another pot. So I think that's what I'm taking away from this. All right, peeps. I'll see you later.